Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. I'm here with a review for you today for the new Nicolas Cage film Prisoners of Ghostland. Yes. So without further ado, let's get into this. Now, before I actually begin with my review, if you're a returning viewer, then welcome back to the channel. So happy to have your support and so happy to have you back. If you're a new viewer, please consider hitting that subscribe button. It's just down below. You know what to do. You know where it is. I have a wealth of content. Yeah, why not check it out? Also, if you hit that notification bell, that will keep you apprised of my content. And why not leave me a comment and I will get back to you. I am also live on Facebook and Instagram, so if you want to come over, why not join me there? It's the same name as here, AJ's Movie Place. Easy to find, do it. So Prisoners of Ghostland, Nicolas Cage's new film. Okay, let's start with a little bit of information. Okay, so the film has just literally come out. It runs at 1 hour and 43 minutes. It stars Nicolas Cage, who we all know. It also stars the Algerian-French actress Sophia Boutella. Now, you may have seen her in some stuff. She was in Star Trek Beyond as Jailer. She appeared in Tom Cruise's The Mummy as the Mummy. She was that girl. She was also in Kingsman: The Secret Service. She was the girl with no legs on the sort of, yeah. If you've seen the film, you know what I'm talking about. Now, this film is Nicolas Cage's fourth collaboration with XYZs. The other being Mum and Dad, Mandy, and The Colour Out in Space, or Out of Space. Now, at the moment, Nicolas Cage, he's doing some decent films, he's doing some crap films. He's picking these crazy films, and this film is no exception to that rule. Yeah, it's a very strange watch. But let's actually talk about the film. Let's get... So, basically, the basic premise of the film is Nicolas Cage is this harsh bank robber who's been caught, and he's used by the governor of this town called Samurai Town. And the governor's daughter has left, or adoptive sort of granddaughter has left the town, and he uses Nicolas Cage. He springs him from jail and uses him to go after her, find her and bring her back. Only he dons him in this leather suit. Yep, with, I said that right, leather suit, with explosives attached. Yeah. It's a weird film. Okay, going into it, I knew nothing about the film, hadn't seen a trailer. I've got no issue with Nicolas Cage as an actor. I mean, he was fantastic back in the day, you know, The Rock, Con Air, you know, but of late he has dwindled into this sort of straight-to-video kind of territory of film. It's like he's sort of edging out of that now, in that he's choosing these sort of wild and unique sort of movies that are really difficult to describe. And like I said, this film is no exception to that. It's bonkers. It's crazy. So the film opens with said bank robbery, and it's very visceral. It's what you're looking at is very arty looking. I mean, everything is white, and the people within the bank are wearing tone colours, almost like they've stepped out of something like Dick Tracy, you know, where they're using that sort of bright tone of colour, you know. Yeah, no pastel, no shade of colour. It's like they're wearing these colours that just stand out, and look, and yeah. So from the start, you got to watch the film to understand what's going on, because you're in this town, like I said, called Samurai Town, and people are you got a lot of Japanese people in there in sort of Japanese garb. But then you've got other people who are in Western sort of clothes who look like they're from a sort of Western reenactment, and they're in a Western reenactment type of town mixed with a Japanese type of town. It is really, really odd. And obviously you've got Nicolas Cage doing what Nicolas Cage does. He isn't very vocal in the film to start with at all. He's playing one of these unnamed heroes again that he seems to be doing of late. Yeah, it's a very, very strange film, and I really don't know what to say. Okay, the film's got a Japanese director called Shion Son. Now, like I said, he is a Japanese director, but not only that, he's a poet as well, which kind of makes sense when you watch this film. As soon as I read that he was a poet, it's like, okay, I understand now where this is coming from on the screen. You've got scenes where the background cast are all sort of chanting stuff in unison. Everyone joins in. Yeah. So anyway, like I said, Nicolas Cage gets donned in this suit, in this leather sort of gimp suit, right? But only it's sort of locked to him, and it's got explosives. It's got 2 explosives on his neck. It's got an explosive on like each arm. And it's got 2 explosives by his testicles. Now you can see these; they're visual because they're basically these light up round things. So he's got this black suit on with these light up round things, and he's got this thing on his wrist. And if he finds the girl and gets her to speak into it, he's got 3 days to find her. If she speaks into it, it recognises her voice and gives him a couple of extra days to complete this task. So, you know, like I said, as you're going into the film, you don't know what you're watching, but as the film progresses, you come to understand that you're actually in this sort of wasteland, this future, dystopian future where there's been some sort of nuclear crisis has occurred, and yeah, people are now living like this in clans and this sort of a thing. So he goes on the road. Obviously, he ultimately finds the girl, and his journey back. Yeah, I don't want to spoil too much of the story if you want to watch the film, but it's him following his path of redemption, because he's haunted by the ghost of this young child that was killed in the bank robbery, that you're led to believe that he was the one that killed the boy, and this sort of stuff goes on, and it's a really weird film, and I really don't know what to make of it. I don't know whether it's bad, I don't know whether it's good. It's certainly different. It's certainly like nothing I've ever seen. My wife was watching it and she switched off. She said, she don't like this at all. But I think that's Nicolas Cage for you at the moment, isn't it? You either like it or you hate it. It's like, Marmite, isn't it? It's like a Marmite film. Yeah, it's so weird. I don't know what to say. I don't know if I liked it. I don't know if I didn't like it. It certainly kept me glued to the screen in that it was so visually unique. I mean, about halfway through, Nicolas Cage becomes a lot more vocal in the film, and a lot more like how maybe you want to see him in a standard Nicolas Cage film, like becoming that sort of action man after the first half of not much, vocalization from him and this sort of a thing. But the film is sort of poetry on screen. Visually, it's poetry on screen. The way it looks, the way the background cast are acting, all this sort of stuff. Yeah, standard sort of Nicolas Cage film. And I'm sorry, I'm not going to be able to tell you whether it's worth watching or not watching, because it is so sort of like, I don't know. I'm sort of in shock as to this film. All I can tell you, to sum this up, is that it is wild and unique. It's visually different than anything I've ever seen, really. It does sort of the dystopian future stuff later on. You get like sort of glimmers of Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome, bits like that. Yeah, it's just a strange film. Anyway, so that's my review for this film. Like, I don't ever give a film a rating out of 10 1 to 10 because it's a pointless exercise. It's such an arbitrary thing to do. When you end up reviewing tons and tons of films and giving them 1 to 10, you end up getting this sort of like, well, you gave that an 8, but you've given that an 8, but when you compare them two films, they're vastly different to one another. So usually I give you a thumbs up or a thumbs down for this film. At the moment, I'm going to give you a... I just don't know where I'm sat on this one. I really don't. A Nicolas Cage odyssey, yes. So at that, I'm going to leave this review. Hope you enjoyed that. I'm sorry I can't recommend it or not recommend it to you. You've got to see it and make up your own mind with this one, seriously. If you like Nicolas Cage, you might like it. I like Nicolas Cage. I once had a friend who told me that I could watch 2 hours of Nicolas Cage in a darkened room. Not even speaking. Yeah, so take what you want from that. I do like Nicolas Cage. But yes, very, very odd. Very odd. Anyway, this is AJ. Thank you for joining me. And I hope to see you next time round. Thank you again. Take care all. Goodbye.